He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Wait, why does your name get to go first?
Shut up.
This is Scone T.
Because they made us.
All right, welcome in. Curbside on a Thursday night. It is Scone T. I'm Scone, Matt Moscona. He's T-Bob A-Bear. Thrilled to be here for Scone T on a giant week, man. Ole Miss coming in. First time we'll actually have a game that feels like a real night game in Tiger Stadium. And a big weekend for the Saints as well. Obviously with Spencer Rattler starting for the Bucs. So about to go over the next hour.
Wait. Come on now. How we start last show?
Well, I was trying to start last show, and then you rudely interrupted me and said some nonsense about the sunken cost fallacy, and if you were doing your job, my picture would be there, and the encyclopedia and all that stuff. And
let's go.
And I routinely try to tell you why you were wrong because you continue to ignore all the evidence that's right in front of your face, like everybody else. That Kalen DeBoer is a good coach, not a great coach.
Tell him.
That Jalen Milroe is a phenomenal athlete, but a very average thrower of the football, is surrounded by spectacular wide receiver talent that will elevate its numbers. And they lost to Vanderbilt. So I'm not surprised by that. Why should I be in any way braggadocious or anything of the sort?
Let's go, dude. Let's go, dude.
Why would I be braggadocious or anything of the sort?
Alabama lost to Vanderbilt.
Like, I mean, T, it's like saying if 2 + 2 is 4, like I'm taking a victory lap for getting that math equation right. What are you talking about? Cheers. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt, which was, by the way, the best possible solution. I mean, it's good. We were sitting there, you and I were sitting there at Don Juan when the Georgia game was unfolding, and like, as epic as it would have been to victory lap after blowing a 28-point lead, it is so much better after they victory lapped.
Yeah.
And then 7 days later, you lose to Vanderbilt.
I mean, it could not. I've been thinking about it a lot on the way up here because it literally, it's like you said, you could not script it better for you, because if the side that doesn't agree with you couldn't beat you down after the Georgia game, I mean, like if you were still standing bloodied, saying the Les Miles era has begun right after that, that's what I'm saying. To be there and be out there, I'm still fighting. I'm still standing, boys. And then for Vanderbilt to win that weekend. Look, I appreciate the take game and the nuances of the take game and what it feels like to hit on some real estate that maybe others have deemed unworthy of investment. There might be some gold in them here hills. Turns out there was, dude.
This isn't you've known me long enough to know, like, I'm not a hot take artist. That's not my thing.
I'm not calling you a hot take artist.
I know that.
All I'm saying is...
And my feeling on Alabama isn't fabricated. Now, the theatrical component is fun because I think what we do should be fun.
You told us last week.
You did...
No. I agree.
What was the... Purple and gold, song Purple and Gold.
I do not want to be misconstrued. I am trying to give you props because it takes a lot to not only stand by but double down on the take, and then to be rewarded immediately a week later with the greatest
in the grandest fashion possible.
It could not be on the 61st attempt that the Vanderbilt football team had against a top 5 AP team. That week, the week you called him the Les Miles of Alabama football.
Tell me that ain't it. Tell me that don't play. Tell me that don't play.
I still don't agree with any of it. I got to be clear. I don't agree with you, but I appreciate it. Like, I give you respect. That is and I'm happy because Alabama lost. My boy nailed the take. Alabama lost. That's good.
But can you not understand, like, there is a large enough sample size of what Kalen DeBoer is as a coach to suggest, like, this is normal for him? Like, this is, I mean, I brought this up several times. The Pac-12 championship game, they blew a 17-point lead. The Sugar Bowl against Texas T, they dominated, were in cruise control.
Yeah.
And they gagged away the late game clock management.
No, I know. They almost Texas had a shot at the end zone
from the 13-yard line. Like, I mean, this is what Kalen DeBoer is and does. He's shown us that.
Your overall, look,
He's a very good coach.
They're
going to win games, but there's going to be a lot of this.
Yeah, your strongest point at the core of it, and then we can move on, is still you're the rational. I mean, of course, he's not going to be Nick Saban.
He's not Nick.
I like I said, I still think they're probably a bit better, but just what a win. Just what an unbelievable win for you.
They're by the way,
and for me, because I hate Alabama. I'm freaking excited that they lose.
Wait until that defense. By the way, the other thing that can't be lost is that defense got completely out-schemed, out-coached, outplayed.
The defense is kind of bad now at last 6 quarters. It's been an awful 6 quarters.
They finally played good teams.
Yeah.
And we're calling Vanderbilt a good team. Imagine that. What do you think is going to happen when I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, bro. In 2 weeks, they're going to Knoxville, and they are losing to Tennessee. Tennessee is going to score 40 on them and win that game. But because Tennessee's defensive
I need to see
front,
more out of Nico, though. I know
bro,
Tennessee's defensive front.
Alabama's defense. First of all, Nico has struggled in 2 road games at Oklahoma, at Arkansas.
Oh, that's true.
This is a home game where it is going to be bat bleep crazy in Knoxville for that game because they know Alabama can be bloodied, and that offense is going to churn against that awful Alabama defense. Like you say what you want, but
I got some questions on Tennessee's receivers. I love their running game. Dylan Sampson's incredible. I got some questions on Tennessee's receivers.
But you don't have a question on Tennessee's defense because you've been hyping
them. The front
they are good enough.
Front seven's really good.
They are good enough to limit that Alabama offense.
The secondary could maybe be a bit of an issue. I mean, Taylon Green.
Watch that thing come apart, bro.
Put up a lot of yards. Maybe so. I mean, hell, it feels more likely than it did last week.
And then what you going to do next year when Jalen Milroe, when some stupid team takes Jalen Milroe in the first round, and then next year you don't have him, and and the 5-star you signed last year, who left for Ohio State, then what are you going to do? You going to tell me about Keelan Russell coming in?
They're going to bring back Eli Holstein.
Go play it. Yeah.
What? Eli Holstein's awesome.
No, I know. This, you don't think they screwed the pooch? They missed on the guy. Eli Holstein's 5-0. He was in a battle. This kid from Zachary, man, was in a battle for the job at Alabama or at Pitt. Won the job. Now he's 5-0. Dude's throwing for 300 yards a game. He's awesome.
Let me look it up.
You don't think Alabama wishes they had Holstein back?
Since I know that we have such a Baton Rouge audience, let's look up exactly what Holstein has done because it is awesome. By the way, the first Pittsburgh quarterback to win his first 5 starts since who?
Dan Marino.
Bam, Dan friggin' Marino. Redshirt freshman, 5-0. Is Pitt ranked this week?
Yes.
There we go.
They're like 11.
Oh, what?
Or wait,
no.
Dude, they're 5-0, man.
No, I know they're 5-0. So Eli Holstein is throwing for 313 yards a game, 15 tuds, only 3 picks, 9 yards per attempt.
Iowa State's 11. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
They are. Pitt is 22. My bad.
65% completion. And let me give you his rushing numbers as well because he can actually run. He's got 3 more tuds on the ground and averages 5.5 yards carry. And you got to remember he averages 50 yards a game on the ground and sacks take away from that.
Yeah.
This dude's going off.
He's a good player.
Shout out to Eli Holstein.
Eli Holstein can throw the football, unlike Jalen Milroe.
Okay. Again, congrats. I'm not, hey, cheers. I'm not even, just enjoy it. I agree, dude. You've earned this.
Dude, just wait.
You've earned this.
Because the thing is, T, it ain't over, man. Like it is gonna keep on. They're not done losing. Like they're gonna lose 3 games this year.
Hell yeah.
And it's gonna be hilarious to watch the melt after every one. I mean, to look at the fan base after the Georgia win, trying to dunk on me and lauding, and then 7 days later, they're mocking this man for the shirt he's wearing. Calling him unprofessional.
The shirt thing is so funny. It's so evident of the melt.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing you're doing. I mean, I made fun of the shirt too, but I also dressed up in the Grim Reaper costume.
It wasn't a good fit on his body.
Oh, it's just a bad decision.
It was a bad decision. It was a bad body choice for sure. All right, that's enough of that. But I mean, I felt like I really wanted to hit that off the top, given just what an insane timing. What an insanely good.
I have something coming for Whiskey and Wine on Saturday. Should I tell you what it is, or you just want to see it?
Well, it depends. Do you need me on board for it?
No.
Okay, then no. Then I want to be surprised. Even though I do want to learn that super expletive ridden cheer still for if we beat Ole Miss to have it ready to go for which one. Yeah, no cursing. We are family friendly.
No, I know.
Okay,
I'm not cursing.
Okay,
no, I just couldn't hear him. Yeah, no, for sure. So we'll do the chant at Don Juan if LSU wins on Saturday.
Please.
Do you think they're going to win
a game this bad in years?
Really?
Yeah, I want it bad. I mean, what I think is kind of exciting about it is, Matt, it's one of the first.
Won the game this bad in years, huh?
It's one of the first. It's one of the first playoff elimination matches.
See, this isn't an elimination game,
not mathematically,
but
functionally.
I agree. Yes, I agree with you. If you lose this game and you're at 2 losses, you have to be flawless the rest of the way.
Remember, a lot of our preseason predictions, we all had both teams undefeated entering today.
Yeah.
So both took an unexpected loss early on. And so now, it's kind of like I think it's a playoff. I'm calling it the college football playoff Thunderdome. 2 teams enter, 1 team leaves. And who's it going to be this Saturday night in Death Valley? I think objectively, Ole Miss has a more talented starting 22.
Yeah.
Overall. I do see the pathway, though. I see the avenues and the angles where I think LSU has advantages that can be exploited to winning the game.
Yeah.
And I've decided that I want LSU to win so badly that, I don't care about being objective or impassioned.
You're at that point.
Or not make, or like, you're not going to catch me picking Ole Miss.
Oh, really?
No. Hell no. I recorded a TikTok game preview for Snaps today 3 different times. And every time I started ending with like, but I think I'll miss. And then finally the last time I just yelled, and the Tigers are going to win. And it was like, oh, okay, that's it. That's the take. That's the correct thing there.
I think early, having done this long enough, it always goes that way. When early in the week, you can see both sides and you can see yourself picking the other team. The closer you get to the game, the more like it's okay. You have to make a decision. You let emotion take over.
Well, it's also that Ole Miss's advantages are obvious, but there still are so many legitimate question marks about both teams. And so when your natural bias starts to invade the gray area of question marks, you start answering all of them positively for your own team, and then you see how they could go negatively for the other team, right? Like, really, this is an LSU defense that's getting better. You can't really look at the growth from Guggenheim to then USA. Like, that's not the same people. So you want to talk about defensive stats, it's fine. But Ole Miss doesn't face an offense like this. And LSU's defense is getting better, so it's not represented by the stats.
I mean, all that is true.
That's what I'm saying. You started to play these games, and you can see the picture start to take form.
I think LSU, who was I having? Someone was having this conversation. So my thing on LSU before the season was, look, they're not going to be what they were a year ago offensively, which was the number 1 scoring and total offense in the country. But can they be top 15 in the offense of the country? I think so. Excuse me. And if you're scoring 35, 38 a game, then your defense doesn't need to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's just like, so I was like, could you go to like top 60? And if you look at LSU right now, they're like 71st or something like that. But the reality is LSU also played.
In S&P Plus, which is opponent adjusted, they're about 55.
I know. I don't like that because I'm trying to compare them to what they were a year ago in their yardage, like total defense yardage.
I'm trying to go apples to apples. S&P Plus from last year?
You could. I don't know what it was.
It's god awful.
I'm sure it was.
Look it up.
But even still, I think we understand and our brains compute what total yardage means over the course of a 12-game season, right? Total defense as opposed to SP plus. Like, I don't know what goes into all that. Like, none of us does, right? So, but the point is, you still have a relatively small sample that you haven't even hit the halfway point of the season, and LSU did challenge itself. It went and played USC in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It played 2 Big Ten teams. They had to go on the road in the SEC. You did play an FCS school, but a good FCS school, and the G5 team you played was one of the highest scoring teams in the country at the time they came in. So, like, you did challenge yourself, whereas I think we looked at Tennessee and Ole Miss offensively at how impressive they were in those first 4 weeks, but they didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
So finally, I think it's fair to look at Ole Miss and say, right, man, well, you finally played somebody, and Kentucky put you in a chokehold, and you scored 17 points, and then you went to Columbia. And I'll grant it, they were up and in no danger of losing that game because, as I also said, Lenore Sellers is a bad college quarterback. He's not a good college quarterback. And they knew that they were going to win the game because South Carolina couldn't complete a pass. And so they went into deep freeze in the fourth quarter. So maybe they could have scored more. But at the same time, like Jackson Dart has struggled the last 2 weeks, man. He really, really has struggled. And
if Trey Harris is out,
he's going to play.
Okay,
he's going to play, but he's going to play, but I don't know how effective he's going to be.
Well, because he literally
maybe wishful thinking, a lot of wishful thinking, but we'll see what that guy can be with a cortisone shot and a taped up ankle.
He's tripled and nearly quadrupled almost every other receiver on the team in terms of catches.
Yeah.
I would be very interested to see where Jackson Dart goes if, like, early on they try to go to him and he's clearly hobbled or it doesn't work. I'll be very interested to see how Jackson – he's a veteran quarterback. He should be able to handle that. But I'm just shocked at the overall number of targets. I mean, it's 50-plus catches to, like, 17, 16, and, like, pre-scoring has, like, 11. That's a crazy distribution.
And the reality is, if Trey Harris is right, and he's the guy who scored the game-winning touchdown a year ago against LSU, if he's right, you don't have anybody one-on-one that can match him. Like, nobody on your team, it's not like where you could say to Derek Stingley, hey, you go get him. Like, that doesn't exist on LSU's team. So the numbers change because you're going to have to play coverage to his side to give help. And so then that's going to leave another side vulnerable and other things open in the field. That's where you could kind of be vulnerable. But I'm also curious about how LSU's rush defense really has improved. Like, that's going to be a massive part of this because Henry Parrish is averaging like 6 yards a carry. Again,
not, but the two conference games have been really bad at running the ball.
I know. And there maybe the other thing we haven't talked enough about at all is
Deion Walker, though.
Their offensive line. The Ole Miss's offensive line is really banged up.
Yeah.
And I think LSU's defensive front has gotten better. I think it sucks that you don't have Jacoby and Guillory, but Ahmad Bro's playing better. You've worked in
the interior's like solid.
It's serviceable.
They're solid, and they have a weird advantage where Ahmad Bro's starting to separate a little bit. Paez is, I'm trying to think if Paez over Suggs. Yeah, Paez is starting to separate a bit.
Suggs is playing like 8 to 12 snaps a game.
I'm saying you still have the guys are close enough where you don't feel like you have to have a locator on like 80-something snaps. Maybe that changes entering SEC play. Brian Kelly's been talking a lot about shrinking the rotation.
I think that's more at safety.
So I'll be interested to see play count come Saturday. But the interior's solid and the edges are really good. But you're right about stopping the run, Matt, because I know we talk about it all the time, but Tennessee, Ole Miss, everything they do is predicated off the run. Like, that's how they open up the big shots. That's really the identity. Go look up the rushing leaders of the SEC the past 4 years. I'm pretty sure it's just been Tennessee and Ole Miss trading the top number each year. So, like, if you can contain the run, that's when Ole Miss's offense can start to sputter a little bit.
So just real quick, JVR Suggs. South Carolina played 5 snaps, had 2 pressures. UCLA played 8 snaps, had 8 pressures. South Alabama played 11 snaps, had 6 pressures. Like, he ain't playing a lot.
No, he's just
but
playing.
When he's in there,
he's third down package.
When he's in there, it's like
obvious.
It's like go.
That's telling you he's an obvious passing downs right there.
We're quick. Shout out to Avid Inspection Specialists. We're here at Curbside for Scone T every Thursday, 7 p.m.
Man.
We're streaming live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube and Facebook. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post, all that stuff. We appreciate it very much. Avid Inspection Specialist. Big shout out to our guy Christian over at Avid. If you need an inspection for your home, for your commercial building, even mold inspections, they do all that super easy. Go to the website, local company, great people, avidspecialists.com, avidspecialists.com. High-tech home, building, and property inspections. You can schedule your inspection super easy right there at avidspecialists.com.
Cool. Autobots. Let's roll.
Autobots?
Bayou Transformers. I was trying to do a bad Cajun accent Transformers joke. But in all seriousness, look, Bayou Transformers. Also a fine sponsor of the show. The reason why we can do the show here at Curbside. And look, at Bayou Transformers, it's your literal one-stop shop. We understand when your transformer's down, that is a cost to your business. Okay, the urgency of the situation. We're ready to assist with maintenance, reconditioning, full replacement, get you back swiftly. All rebuilt transformers will come with a 5-year warranty, very rapid turnaround time. So you have peace of mind, again, quick, and then you have peace of mind after the job is done as well. Solution to all your transformer needs. Go to visit BayouTransformers.com, BayouTransformers.com.
And the crazy thing is there's like nobody else that does that. That like local that like just
the
repair.
Decepticons do.
It
He liked it. Yeah, there you go, dude. That's a win. Let's go.
It's just so hard to work with him. It's so hard to work with him. Like you're in the middle of an ad read for a sponsor and try to, and then he just throws out a Decepticons thing just midstream right there. It's just devastating. It's devastating to the flow and everything. It's just working with you so hard when you do stuff like that.
So you want to hear something crazy?
It's just easier for me just to not talk.
You want to hear?
Just let it breathe.
Thank God.
I know. Seriously.
Wow, we finally arrived here.
Yeah.
Wait, you want to hear something crazy?
I would love to hear something crazy.
I was
Please
talking
tell
about
me all the
comparing
crazy things.
this year's S&P Plus to last year's. LSU finished in the S&P Plus ranking 11th last year with a rating of 19.1. LSU currently right now is 11th with a rating of 19.1.
Oh, my God.
Their offense finished second in the country with a rating of 44.6. Right now, LSU's offense third in the country with a rating of 44. The defense finished 52nd with a rating of 25. The defense right now, 53rd with a rating of 25.
So so as bad as they were defensively, the SB outperformed.
No, they're actually exactly the same.
No, but what I'm saying is, so last year they were 112th in total defense, but in the SP they were 52nd.
Yes.
So that was much higher.
It's giving them. That's because you play a harder schedule than the vast majority of teams, which is gonna weight that differently. But that's just wild that it's analytically so similar at this point in the season. I mean, nearly dead same. But again, I think this year's defense is way better. Like I keep going back to the Nebraska thing. You can really see the differences if you watch closely, and the differences that are going to continue to build on each other. I'm not saying there's not going to be step backs, but like I really love the long-term future of the defense.
Razor said, how many carries does Caden Durham get? I think we could talk about the rush offense. I don't know if you have an opinion on how many carries he gets. I know we talked about like he dislocated 2 toes. But I was told like if it was the Alabama game, they'd have taped it up and he'd have just gone back in. But that's also sounds really painful. And especially if you're a running back, I don't know how explosive you are when you have dislocated toes. But he's going to play, and I'll be curious to see. But I think LSU's ability to run the football in this game is, God, it's so massive.
I mean, if there's not like ligament damage, then the toes could be fine by now. Right? I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
neither am I. And I've never dislocated toes either.
Dislocating is, I mean, I was talking about labrum when I did my shoulders, so I ended up having to get surgery. But like, I don't know. I feel like if there's not ligament damage, just swelling and bruising, and then they had a bye week for it to go down. I don't know about touches, because again, that swing pass last game is essentially a sweep, even though that's a catch.
Yeah.
10, right? I mean, I don't think you enter with an overall goal, but like you want to get him those touches early. Actually, no, I'd say 10. Yeah, maybe try him out early if you need to change base, not working or something, and bring him back in later. Like,
I think it's got to be higher than that too. I mean, I mean, he's got to have in the neighborhood of 10 carries, maybe 3 to 5 catches. I'd be in the 13 to 15 touch.
Is he
range.
in the? You think he's mentally ready for that?
I mean, he did it against South Carolina.
How many did he get?
I mean, they
did rely. I mean, you're right. Those were massive moments. He was on the field. The playbook wasn't closed off or anything. So you're right. I think that's a solid point.
He had against South Carolina, he had 11 carries and 1 reception. So he had 12 touches.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be in that
10 to 15.
He's got to be in that range.
And
I mean,
if you want to air 15, that's fine.
If you're not putting the ball in that guy's hands, a guy that's proven he can break tackles, he can go through first contact, who can get the extra yards. Like, what are you doing if you're not putting the ball in that guy's hands 10 to 15 times a game? Like, it's just, I have all the respect in the world for Josh Williams, great player. And he of course has a role on this team. No doubt. But I think his role on this team has to mirror what it's looked like in years past. I think we came into this season because Brian Kelly said it, thinking that Josh Williams was probably going to be like the lead, the bell cow guy. And that hasn't meant it's just shown like there's there's a ceiling there, man. It's just there's a limitation there for him. He's a good player and has a role, but that's what it is. It's a role. It's a valuable one.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not. I don't want him touching the ball 15 times in a game.
He's been really good with his touches too. They're a good 1-2 combination. Like,
yes,
both them having 10 to 15 touches, I'm actually okay with. And if you want to say, well, it should be 15, Caden, 10, Josh, you're not going to get arguments from me.
I think Josh Williams is
he's been doing
3 to 5 touch a game.
He's also been doing a good job though of making the first guy miss consistently. He just doesn't have the breakaway speed, which obviously Caden is used to incredible effect. And it's been, some creative use of Williams as a tendency breaker. Bring him in on third down, think it's going to be a pass, maybe run him if you're comfortable going to fourth down. They pulled off a couple of conversions on it. So, like, those two are the backs. Beyond that, I don't know, right?
So weird about Caleb Jackson.
How much you working
Caleb
Jackson?
I thought for sure Caleb Jackson was primed for a huge year, man.
Running back's a weird position, though, man. They can ebb and flow, right? We've seen it in the past. Then again, you can also get really hot and have one guy or two guys just take over. But right now, I would say I feel like if Brian Kelly was saying I want to shrink the running back rotation, I feel very comfortable with those two, not just Caden. Having Caden and Josh, it's a good combo.
Got to run the ball, man. Ole Miss's defense. So a lot of the Ole Miss people I've talked to this week are really high on Ole Miss's defensive front.
Yeah.
And so that there's two components of that. It's like, can LSU run the ball and be balanced? Which I don't know if they absolutely have to be.
I don't think they need to be balanced from a play calling standpoint.
No, and I don't think I'm not saying 50-50, but I'm just saying the ability to run the ball, especially when you need to run the ball.
They got to be on schedule.
And then the other part of it, though, is in protection. I mean, I get that they have good players. Like, and Ole Miss has like 26 sacks or something. 24 sacks.
Leads the country.
But that's also one of those things where, like, you get 6 in a game against a lesser team. How impressive really is it?
I mean, no. I think they have. Look, I think they have an objectively really good pass rush, but like that's LSU's greatest strength. So
that's the point. It's good on good, and it'd be one thing if I'd seen LSU, if I'd seen this line be an effective pass blocking line just through 5 weeks. I'd be like, okay, well, now they're really going to be tested. We'll see. But with these dudes, it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like they're just playing well now. I mean, Will Campbell's given up 2 sacks in 3 years. If you get him, congrats. Tip your cap. You earned it. But it's hard for me to imagine that Nuss is just going to be under constant duress the whole game.
No, I mean,
like Ole Miss coming and getting 5 sacks. If they do, congrats. You're awesome. I just don't know if I see that.
Campbell got beat 3 times in South Carolina. It's the most I've ever seen him get beat in a game. But the 1 sack he gave up was not actually on him. I would not consider it one of the times that he got beat. That's when the interior rusher came to the A-gap. So that's the worst he's done is get beat and give up 3 hits on the quarterback. I feel very comfortable with him on the edge. The different thing about the Ole Miss line to me is the interior defensive line is a cut above anything you've seen thus far this year. If you're LSU, Walter, JJ Pegues,
who's on the injury report too, like
Chris Paul. What do they call him? I can't remember. Somebody told me his nickname today, but Chris Paul's pretty good. So like
he was the kid from Arkansas.
I know the edges are going to be fine. I am a little intrigued to see it, but they've done it forever too. Dellinger, Frazier, and DJ Chester there in the middle.
It's fair to ask about Chester, but the other two, I'm not worried about either of those guys. I mean, they've been great. Like they've been great their whole careers. Like man, I think LSU's offensive line is fine. If they're not, then you got a major problem. I think LSU is going to move the ball and score. I just don't think that's the issue. I think this is going to be a game. I've said it all week, and I haven't seen anything to move me off of it. I just think we're probably going to see a repeat of the SC game in the opener. 2 coaches that have no interest in trying to play a game in the 40s. Veteran quarterbacks that can protect the football. Defensive coordinators that are going to try to make the other team go the length of the field, don't give up the big explosive play, and you hope that a ball bounces your way. I mean, what in the SC game, I mean, wasn't there 3 fumbles in that game and LSU got none of them? I mean, sometimes like you literally think, sometimes like you
gotten any of those, that would have been huge.
Like sometimes you just literally need the ball to bounce your way. And in that game, it didn't. It was a close game, and you're just not good enough to overcome some of that. At least you weren't at that point. The other interesting thing too, is just how different LSU is defensively and all over the field than they were in that opener. I mean, remember, at that point, you were still playing Perkins at Mike or at off-ball linebacker. You still had Jacoby and
Weeks
Guillory.
only played like 33% of the plays.
Sage Ryan started at corner and played 51 snaps at boundary corner. He's played 1 snap since. It was when Zy Alexander got the concussion against UCLA, played 1 snap at boundary corner. I mean, so like
can't believe they did that for all of camp.
Deshaun Spears hadn't really emerged. I just think they didn't. They just didn't know what they had at corner, and so they played Sage at safety in spring, and they just didn't know what they were going to have at corner. And so I feel
I'm surprised you're not just in it like we just got to roll the dice there situation almost after working. So Sage felt so natural there in spring.
But I think it was probably also one of those things where like you're playing SC. This is a guy who's been around for 4 years. He's played a ton. At least he's going to be assignment sound.
That's true.
So, I mean, I think that's if it were a different opponent, like if they had opened with Nichols, I don't think Sage Ryan's starting a corner against Nichols.
I mean, so
I think you start PJ Woodland and see how he does.
I agree with a lot of your game breakdown. I still do remain, though. I remain a bit worried about the Ole Miss big play through the air because, well, I mean, right?
Yep.
That's what they do. But LSU has been playing a lot of single high man coverage, pretty aggressive stuff. And, you know, they've been okay. A lot of times they've been in position and haven't made plays. But there's been a lot of times they got beaten pretty badly. And there were even a couple of times in the USA game where probably 2. Then if they hit, they're touchdowns, right? But
you know what's hit. You know what's interesting, though, about that? And I agree with you, but so I was talking to one of my friends that covers Ole Miss, and I forget the stat off the top of my head, so forgive me for this. That's bad to not know this. But it was like Jackson Dart's completion percentage. He's like, on the past 2 weeks against SEC teams, on passes beyond 20 yards, he's like 3 of 15.
Oh, wow.
Like and some of it's been bad throws. Some of it's been the wrong read. It's just, I think that's part of the reason why last week which is very un-Kiffin-like, when they had the lead and they knew South Carolina couldn't move the ball,
they just ran it.
They threw the ball one time in the fourth quarter. It was like, just go in the deep freeze. That's not like Lane to do that. So,
maybe something going on with Dart.
Maybe. And I think and when you're targeting one guy exclusively, you know, and then he leaves the game in the second half. That's why, like, I mean, see, my whole point about this game, I am very, very on the fence, and I think I'm going to pick Ole Miss to win it. I know that sucks, and you could boo me. That's fine, but I try to look at this objectively. I'm not going to be the guy. Like, I'm not going to name who this person is, but there's one person who in like a 3.5-year span of covering LSU never once picked against LSU.
Smart.
And I'm like, I will never, ever be that person.
He's been right the majority of the time.
No, like, you have to.
He was 10-3 last year.
No,
he was 10-3 the year before. 10-4 still. That's 20-7.
No, this your audience may be pissed at you, but at least it's like the Simon Cowell effect when he was on American Idol.
Yeah.
Like whenever he praised someone, you knew it was legit because he wasn't scared to tell you how bad you sucked if you were bad. So it's kind of like that. And
you got to find a critic you trust.
Yeah.
Know who your critics are.
But all that to say,
just going to choose whatever.
All of this to say, before the season started, I picked LSU to, you know, your media days, we all do the whole, what are you going to win? What are you going to lose? Right? Everybody does that whole thing. What's your record? Everything. I picked LSU to win this game primarily because of the spot. I'm a big believer in the back-to-back road conference game thing. So Ole Miss, 7 straight weeks, 3 straight SEC games, back-to-back road conference games, and LSU's at home and coming off a bye. I love the spot for LSU. Similarly, why I hate LSU going to A&M, and I'm going to pick A&M to beat LSU unless if something dramatically changes. But and LSU hadn't won there since 2016. You're starting with the 7 overtime game in 18 and all that stuff that goes into that. And that place is going to be a madhouse and whatever. So none of that has changed. If you tell me, I think LSU probably defensively, I thought they'd be better than they have been. And I thought they'd have run the ball better. But if you tell me Trey Harris is limited or not playing, that completely changes my opinion. Because I don't think Ole Miss, without Trey Harris, has shown they're capable of consistently doing what you just said.
Yeah.
Stretching the field and moving the ball. And if you can't do that, I know over 4 quarters, Nussmeier and these receivers and that crowd and everything that go. I mean, shit, you played in that game. Sorry, in games like that in Tiger Stadium, like it's just
I have to work with, guys.
It's just like that will overwhelm you. I don't care how good or veteran a team you are. Like I saw LSU in 2014, which was an awful football team. Like have Alabama beat, and then they gagged it away. They kicked an onside kick out of bounds and. Or not a kickoff out of bounds. There was the
pile and whatnot.
Yeah, the rib off the pile, the 15-yard penalty, and all that stuff. I mean, you gagged it away. You were terrible, and you had a great team beaten, and you gave it away. But my point is, like, all of that factors, like, it weighs so heavily toward LSU. If you tell me Trey Harris isn't playing, man, like I think that's or is not.
It's a big enough absence where there's a objective like. Nobody could fault you if you were to say that your pick hinges on Trey Harris's availability, because that's how big of a difference he represents to that team right now. Certainly, I would agree with that. I'm just not picking because, like, if I was a cop, you'd have to take me off the case. I want blood. I want blood, guys. I want this one too bad because honestly, and I was a part of this, I was a part of this number, but I would love nothing more than if Ole Miss were to be this off-season darling. All their championship dreams are coming true. I just imagine there they sit in their sweater vests, laid down in their pillow, the little sleeveless Patagonias, and they lay down all off season and they're dreaming about the college football playoff. We would have made it 2 of the last 3 years. Look at all the money we put in this team. We're finally going to win the transfer portal. And then if they were to come to Death Valley Saturday night and get exposed as frauds while simultaneously being the launching pad to legitimizing this LSU team, I mean, that is sweet. And that feels good. And I want that so badly that I have decided to lose sight of any objectivity on this game.
That's fine.
I'm hunting down. I'm going vigilante justice on the killer. And when I get my hands on him, I'm ripping his head off.
I love it.
Sorry, guys.
You know how fun it'll be at Don Juan on Saturday? Like when LSU wins a big game, it's the energy at Don Juan is just like, because then what happens is people leave the stadium or even people who live nearby just start showing up.
Yeah.
And then it's just this total like bubble of energy and excitement. Everybody's fired up.
The viewers like the train wreck of the loss, but man, if you want to talk about the ultimate drug, the Don Juan crowd high after a big win is a sweet vintage that you cannot really replace with much else.
All right, YouTube.
It's any sweet win, right? We're just that's like my place that I'm used to taking it in with these people that I'm used to taking it in with.
Joseph said T-Bob got me ready to run through a wall with that future.
I mean, that's what's on the line, guys. And think about it. Why didn't LSU move up in the AP poll? Why didn't LSU move up?
I don't care.
No. I don't care either. I don't care either. But what I'm saying is, it is because everybody believes LSU is bad to average, and that we're all just waiting to see it. And that's been the overriding sentiment. And to spit in the face of that narrative, ruin Ole Miss this season, and make your own on a beautiful fall Saturday night. That's the type of game you pull this off, guys. That's the type of game people talk about 10, 15 years later.
What's your favorite LSU Ole Miss game? Put yours in there too, by the way. This is, by the way, if you're watching, please comment favorite LSU Ole Miss game memory, and then something else that I want to do for Louisiana Sports Net. I was talking to Hunt about this. They're doing the 100-year anniversary, is asking people what their favorite Tiger Stadium memory is, and then doing like a compilation of people's like 2 to 3 line. I don't need a column, just like your 2 to 3 line, your favorite game, favorite memory, why sort of thing.
Yeah, it'd be great.
What about you?
My Ole Miss would be 2010. And nobody's really going to care about this one as much.
I remember the game.
But at home, Jeremiah Masoli was popping off.
Yeah.
It was one of the only games that I was a part of in college where the offense had to save the day. And so it always meant a little more to me because of that, because we were always so defensively dominated in 10 and 11. that for whatever reason, the defense could not crack Masoli, and we were just humming. And on a personal level, I just dominated Jarrell Poe, and it was so tight. And on the game-winning touchdown,
awesome.
I got in his face and was talking so much noise that he punched me and got a 15-yard penalty.
That's so good.
And I was just like, I was just alive.
Like knowing you now,
I was alive.
like knowing you now personally, I can imagine that you would have been the most gigantic pain in the ass to play against.
Just
Like you probably talked the whole game.
dirty play, cheap shots.
Dirty. There's no doubt you would have been junk grabbing at the bottom of a pile.
I never did
Tell
that.
me you
I never did that. I never did that. That was
punching, grabbing,
There's
twisting,
actually-
whatever you could
that
do.
was no a lot of punching, never pitching,
No
always
doubt.
punching forearms, kicking, stuff like that.
Man.
No pinching, no biting, no poking, no grabbing.
I don't believe you on
There
that
was
one.
there was one guy, and everybody remember him, this dude from Arkansas, and it was kind of like the grab came, and I was kind of like what are you doing, dude? Like it would have been. I thought like I'm used to being punched and like kidney shot and like maybe jacked in the back when it plays downfield, but no, he just got a big old handful. So that didn't. I mean, a lot of that was not commonplace, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's your favorite LSU Ole Miss game?
03. 03 was massive. That was the game where you knew, of course, look, so disclosure, like my college tenure at LSU were Nick's years.
Yeah.
Okay, so those were, and I graduated December 04, so I got 5 Nick seasons. Okay.
Wow.
That was my college career. In 03, when they went to Oxford and beat Ole Miss, there was the game where Eli fell down. Like they had a
Yeah, he
they had
like
a
fell
fourth
on his
down
butt or
play.
something.
He got stepped on by his lineman. I think Chad Lavallee blew the play up, and the lineman got knocked back, and he stepped on Eli's foot, and he fell down. It was this big dramatic play, man. It was fourth down, like this is the game, and he just
I remember the play.
It was so anticlimactic because he fell down. But it was there.
Yeah, that's a sick defensive. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy D tackle play.
Chad Lavallee was incredible.
He
But,
is my. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. He is my mascot of that 03 team. In my head as a kid, he is the story that I remember the most, and the dude who I was like the most obsessed with.
He was amazing. Like JV coming on late that year was awesome. Michael Clayton was a freak. I mean, Spears, Marquise Hill. That was such an awesome team. I mean, like I was a senior in college.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And LSU won its first national title in 45 years.
And it's like
that's why like everything, like all these comments are, and everybody's. It's interesting to me because everybody's is unique to them. Like if you ask me my favorite Tiger Stadium moment, bar none, like this is the easiest thing in the world for me. It's 01 Auburn. It's not even close. Like there's not, and I was at 07 Florida. I was there, like the 2019 team, like all the amazing games in 07. There have been some incredible moments, incredible games in that stadium. I was a kid, but I was at the earthquake game. I don't really remember it. I was 6.
Yeah.
But I was there. 01 Auburn was LSU breaking through, man. It was a game that was delayed from 9/11, was played in December. It was a de facto SEC West championship game because Bama beat Auburn the week before. And so the winner you knew was going to Atlanta. And LSU beat Auburn. The last time Auburn was in Baton Rouge, they smoked cigars on the field. It was the 41-7 game. So like the whole student section, we had all these like plastic cigars in the student section the whole game. LSU won. We stormed the field. Everyone smoking cigars on the field. Like, and that was the game that like,
wow.
And then of course LSU went to Atlanta, beat Tennessee, and that like for me that was
amazing.
I mean that I was there too. That was for me. 01 Auburn was for me the one that will forever be the one. There's amazing games. I was at 03 Georgia. But just for what 01 Auburn was at the time, and I love the Auburn game. But no, I don't think many people would say that. Like you're going to hear 07 Florida. Yeah. You're going to hear 97 Florida. Old heads will say 79 USC. If you're still alive and you watch Billy Cannon's run, that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of – everyone's got their own for whatever reason, though.
But there still
Muse, yours? What's yours, Muse?
What are we going with? Ole Miss or anything?
Tiger Stadium, anything.
Well, I can say Ole Miss would be 2012. That was awesome. Freshman in college, the Odell punt return, like that was. I mean, it was 89 yards. It was kind of reminiscent of Billy Cannon's.
It was literally the same. You're too loud, by the way. It was literally. No, you're good. It was literally the same spot on the field.
Yeah.
We picked it up at on the 11 in the south end zone on the southeast part and went right up that sideline. It was incredible.
It was really cool. It was really cool to see that in person. And obviously, I wasn't alive to see Billy Cannon's run, so it was just that cool parallel. So I think 2012, and then of course that's the Les Miles infamous press conference after there. What a game! You know, kiss him on the mouth if you're a girl.
You kiss him on if you're a girl.
Man, what a game!
The old header.
Favorite memory in Tiger State? I don't know if I really have a one to just give you because there's a lot. Like, I mean, 07 Florida, obviously there.
Yeah.
I mean, 2010 Bama was awesome. That was a really, really awesome day. Just to be just on campus that day was great.
Good win.
I have a special place in my heart for 2012 South Carolina as well. The 2012 South Carolina game.
Josh Jurasic shutting down Jadeveon Clowney, a
Yeah.
legendary all-time Tiger moment.
Yeah.
Alex Hurst went AWOL that week, and Jurasic had to go play left tackle. It was
on after microfracture surgery as a 6-year senior, taking on the #1 pick and shut his ass down and handed a top 5 South Carolina team a loss. And that's the top 5 team that finished 10-2.
They won the bowl game, won 11 games. They won back-to-back 11-win seasons under Spurrier, which they've never
course,
done
that's obviously the TJ Yeldon year in which they would have made the Natty potentially had they won that.
Yeah.
Cortland said 03 Georgia. Nookie said the Burrow game, which is a great one. I mean, look, you pounded
17 Georgia.
I mean,
banger.
18,
Absolute 18 Georgia. 18 Georgia. Absolute banger.
Be going in my brain. Yeah. Like the Burrow is a moment. The game itself, I wish LSU would have not taken their foot off the pedal.
Georgia?
Against A&M in 19, because 18 was the 7 overtime game, the cups and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you hung 49 on them in the first half.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, or 42, and you end up winning 50-7.
That 19 team just went like
they could have done whatever they wanted.
Legitimate Super Saiyan at the end of the season.
They could have done whatever they wanted.
You know, at the end of the Matrix when they're shooting at Neo and he sees all the code and he just
stops the bullets.
Yeah, like that's like
that was 19.
It out the air. That's 19. Actually, 19's more like the Marin, whatever. Yeah, that's the analogy. That's 19.
You good?
Yeah, I'm just thinking now you just got me all whimsical about Tiger. But see, the point is though.
But I love it, man. That's what you can have
that's what I'm saying.
in
But
these
that's
nights.
what you can create Saturday night.
It's like that's
what's on the line, guys. You achieve a level of immortality if you ball out on that stage Saturday night.
So before this ended up in one of those, I think one of the Jaden documentaries, but it was like the 2022 Bama game. The show before that, I kind of waxed poetic, but that's sort of what I said. It's like these games don't look. Tiger Stadium has a reputation that is earned, in my opinion, as the best big game venue in the sport we all love. When it's a big game, right?
That's a great way of
there's no place better.
Yes.
There are times when South Alabama or Nichols comes in, or when it's 103 degrees and UCLA's here and half the people leave. Like there are those like everywhere else, but when it comes to a big game in a moment, there's no venue in this sport that we all love that behaves and transcends like Tiger Stadium. And it's among the best in the world in any sport. I don't know, like I've never been to a Premier League, whatever. I mean, but I can imagine, right? Tiger Stadium for a massive game. So it was like, man, just go make a memory. Go be part of something big. And like, this is one of those opportunities on Saturday because there is a lot on the line and it's going to be a night game and the weather is going to be awesome and everybody feels it because you already have a loss. And by the way, can I just say as well, everybody who said the regular season was going to be devalued because you expanded the playoff. No, I mean, we're still talking about Vanderbilt beating Bama. Bama could still well be a playoff team, but we're all talking about still like, no, the college football regular season is great, not because of the postseason. The college football regular season is great is because college football is great.
But also,
and don't be force-fed the crap.
But also, the expanded playoff does make more regular season games interesting because more have playoff implications.
Yes, all the way through November. Dude, like, imagine like whoever loses this game.
That's what I'm saying.
In the former format, you'd say, all right, what are you doing in the final 6 weeks? Doesn't matter. What are we doing? Playing? Are we going to the Texas Bowl or the LiQuest Bowl? Who cares? Like now, you actually have.
You still have a mathematical chance if you lose.
Yes,
that is true.
It's still there, man. It's the same thing. Why, I hate the wild card game when they do that in baseball, or like the NBA's the play-in tournament. Like, it's brilliant. You keep more teams interested longer. Like when the Pelicans won the play-in a couple of years ago, how fired up were we? And then they got in, and it was like,
I agree.
I mean, they had to play Phoenix, and that wasn't good, but
we have some breaking news in the chat. Fonz, Alex, few others. It sounds like BK just announced that Kyle Parker is out for the year with a ruptured tendon in his bicep.
That's weird. What a weird injury.
That stinks.
Yeah.
That's not one they hear often. I mean, again, what are you hearing on the Hilton front? Anything?
Yeah, I think Chris Hilton can play. I think it's just a matter of him being comfortable enough to play.
Okay.
Like he dressed against UCLA and then didn't dress against South Alabama. And I guess for him, it's just he's got to feel comfortable enough to get out there and open it up. But yeah, no, he's green lighted. He can play.
Okay, because
at this point, Chris has to feel comfortable enough, like he can do what they're asking him to do. But as far as a medical clearance thing, he is cleared. Like he can play.
That'd be great if he could go.
Yeah,
that'd be great if he could go.
Dude, nobody is more hopeful for him than me, because even last year in fall camp, if you didn't have Malik and Brian Thomas last year, Chris Hilton could have played a massive role in that offense for you last year. He was that good. It's just you had Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and Kyron Lacey and Mason Taylor, and it was just like he just got lost in the shuffle of it.
Well, hopefully Saturday he'll be feeling good, and you want to talk fresh legs, chance to explode on the scene. Could be rust, could be fresh legs. You never quite know how that's going to play out. He is a veteran, which would work in his favor in that regard. All I know is when he does step in that field in that first time Saturday night, he's going to be hyped up.
05
I might let him run the first play. He's going to have so much adrenaline in his body. I'm just shooting him out the first play and seeing what happens.
And then come to the sideline and get some oxygen.
I mean, that's fine. I let him just like a bottle rocket. Fire him off once and then rotate him in later.
All right, we'll get to chats here in a second, but Cortland said the 05 Auburn game was a great moment. Do you remember the game? That was the John Vaughn game where he missed 5 field goals.
That was at 8.
So it went to overtime.
8-7 was it?
No. So 04 was 10-9. That was the Ronnie Prude leverage game.
Yes. Yeah.
So the year later they come into Tiger Stadium, and John Vaughn misses 5 field goals, including doinking one in overtime. So the personal story about this is, at my tailgate I broke up with my girlfriend. And I had 2 tickets in the north end zone. And so she had one and I had one. And so I went to the game not knowing if whatever she came. And so she was trying to talk to me about everything. And you have to understand, old Matty Moe, pre-professional Matty Moe, was the most intense LSU football fan you would ever meet in your life.
Well, I mean, you got to think, dude, you are a bit like how Jesus' 12 apostles felt, given that you got there the same time as Nick Saban.
That's not fair.
He was the prophet that led.
That's not fair, because my first memories were the 6 straight losing seasons.
No. But no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're not a fan before. What I'm saying is, though, so yeah, even more so. So you grew up a massive fan, and then this man from West Virginia descends from the Appalachian Trails, comes down from Michigan, and literally leads you to the promised land and just makes all your dreams come true. God. Of course, yes. 05 or 04, 05, you were completely as in it can be. That's like the dream timing for that to work out.
So that's that again, back to the Kalen DeBoer analogy. That's Les's first season. They beat Auburn because their kid misses 5 field goals.
Hell yeah.
Give me a break. But she was trying to talk to me about the whole breaking up. And I said, hey, you do not get to talk to me until the clock is 0. And the game went to overtime. It was so good.
Oh my word. That is all time good. Dude. Yeah. That is fantastic.
Yeah. It didn't work out with us.
That wasn't E-Rock? No way.
No, it was not. You're not going to melt it, man. She's such an emotional ball. Like she would just melt, like just crumbled and melted.
Avery's Camping and Adventures, $5 super chat. Heading to LSU for graduation in December. Recommendations for a nice dinner spot afterwards.
Say again?
They're heading to LSU for graduation in December and want to know where they should go get some dinner afterwards. So after a graduation,
Supper Club, get your reservations early.
You go there. I mean, Rufino's. That's where I went after my graduation. It's a classic post-graduation spot.
Yep.
There's a lot. I mean,
kind of depends what experience you want.
Yeah.
Disclosure, Supper Club is a sponsor, but they've done an awesome. I mean, it's just. Have you been there?
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, the job they did with the menu is amazing.
No, it's really
and I
cool.
love the vibe of it. There's just nothing else like that here.
That's true. Colonel Club's pretty cool.
I haven't been there yet.
Great piano bar lounge.
Wait, is that a restaurant or is that?
It's a restaurant. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
restaurant.
I thought
but
that
the
was a
food-
bar.
No, the restaurant's good, but then they have a very cool
That's over by
lounge.
like Duvix and everything, right?
I think it's where the old K Street was, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Like wasn't that a restaurant?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was cool too, though. I don't know. I mean, you know what though? I had so much fun at Rufino's after my graduation. Go there, dude.
Classic spot, man. Love Rufino's.
Bryce Bujo, Combat Sports announcer, top 10 win. Forget about your shark fin. Forget Ole Miss. I think that's what FK means. Yeah, I agree, dude.
He's doing the song that you did 2 years ago. Remember, like the pod. Yeah,
forget your.
That's what he's doing.
Fin. Forget.
That's what he's
Bryce.
doing.
Oh, I've been thinking about that. Let's just get this dub, dude, and then we'll have some fun. And then we'll have some. Devin Johnson, $5 super chat. LSU fans Saturday. We need to prove Tiger Stadium's the number one most hostile, loudest stadium in the country. Stand the heck up. Go Tigers. So I do agree. Something we haven't talked to tonight that I think we haven't talked about tonight because we understand that it's implied. But be extra unhinged Saturday if you're going to the game. Like this is one of those opportunities where you can have a demonstrable effect on the outcome. And that's a fun part about major college football.
You felt that when you played?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then why do you think Kirby Smart's like chewing out the Georgia fans in the post-game press conference last week? Because guys are leaving early. They're like in a 12-point game against Auburn and nobody cares in the fourth quarter. Like, that matters. It creates – what are drive killers? Pre-snap penalties. It can create those. What are drive killers? Negative plays, sacks. What if the guy can't hear his snap count? He has to look at the ball every single time. All of a sudden, every edge rusher has gained an inherent tiny advantage. The energy that you get from the crowd and the intimidation that you can receive when a crowd is at its loudest, these are all very real effects of the game. And so don't kid yourself and you're in that stadium and you feel like you don't have a role or you don't have an effect. Now, I'm not saying like if the team gives you nothing to cheer about, I'm not saying to just like whatever. Like I get it. Like the team's got to do their part, but just understand that no, it is a real important. Like in fact, any avenue to LSU winning to me starts with the fact that you're at home at night in Death Valley.
Yeah.
And that's because of the crowd.
Huge.
So get ready to take him down, man. Let's go. Ooh,
right, what else
I'll
we
be
got?
so happy, dude. That's it for Super Chats. See if I can find a question or two in here.
If Razor said if Lane makes the playoff, does he leave Ole Miss? So I don't think it's that binary. Like I think making the playoff and the 12-team playoff isn't like maybe the question is from the standpoint of just the timing, because if you made the 14 playoff prior, this was the big sort of quote unquote controversy about Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame because his team was still in the mix to make the playoff.
Yeah.
None of us thought they were actually going to make it.
Yeah.
But like now, if you make the 12-team playoff, like if teams are hiring a coach, like this will be something we're going to have to watch this year. If teams are hiring a coach and you want to hire your coach in the end of November, beginning of December, right? Because you got the December signing period. Like, are you waiting on a team to finish the playoff to get your guy?
It's a high stakes game,
right?
Bo.
You better get him. You better get him. Because if you don't,
that's a high stakes game.
but see, like we see it in baseball.
I wonder,
if you're,
do you think the schools like that because it's almost a built-in level of protection for the coaches, or excuse me, for the schools on kind of getting poached
maybe
like that?
But like in baseball, if you want to go after a team that's making a deep run, right? I mean, your season ends around Memorial Day. Well, you may have to wait till the end of June.
Look at old Sloss Snake.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at what Texas did. Everybody knew they were firing Pierce.
Never wins another game. Snake in the grass. Biggest snake move.
Snakel?
No, Sloss Snakel. I see you slithering.
Got it. Smash the like button.
Bayou Transformers, guys, is BayouTransformers.com. All your Transformer needs. Remember, rebuilt Transformers, a 5-year warranty. We understand you need help immediately, right? To cost your business, your Transformers down, okay? Whether it's refurbishing, reconditioning, any maintenance, full replacement, Bayou Transformers, the only answer for all your Transformers need, okay? BayouTransformers.com. Go to BayouTransformers.com.
I would love to say two things. First of all, AVID Inspection Specialist. Shout out to Christian and the guys over there as well. AVIDspecialists.com. If you need a home inspection, it's a high-tech home, building, property inspections. They do mold as well. At Parish Restoration, we've done a bunch of work with AVID as well. They refer to us a lot of business. Christian's awesome. Local inspections, home inspections, schedule it. AVIDspecialists.com. And thanks to Curbside as well. They're awesome for hosting us. We love coming here. Right on Government Street next to Flandreau's.
Every Thursday.
Great spot, man. Best burger. Always. They win Best of 225, best burger every year. And I mean, you'll see why. The food's awesome. Vibes are awesome. Come hang out here. I would like to respectfully ask two things. One, please go to LouisianaSports.net and subscribe. There's a little flag that comes on the home screen. It's it'll for the newsletter. So you get like an e-blast with our news headlines and stories. The plan is for that to go up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you want it, awesome. If not, then just delete the email and don't open it. But that would be great if you would subscribe to that. And then two, the 1045 app, which I know we're down. We've done very well. People love to listen on our app.
Yeah.
You can go into settings and turn on push notifications, and I would really hope that you would, because we can send out push notifications from LouisianaSports.net. So, for example, like the Kyle Parker news that just happened. Like, we'll send a push notification of that story. When there's relevant news, Spencer Rattler starting, we sent a push notification of that yesterday. So please go into the app if you have downloaded it and turn on push notifications. We would appreciate that greatly.
Very easy. I just did it while Matt was reading that, guys. Also, I know push notifications is a big ass, but like, we're your boys.
Is it like, so here, that's what
I would never do it for any like big company or anything like that. I would never do it.
Okay.
But
it's just
for the
interesting.
homies, no big deal.
It's interesting because like I don't turn on push notifications for anything. And so I was a little hesitant to it. But then Michelle, who's our ops manager, she's like, she has push notifications turned on for everything. She loves getting them, like getting news. And I was like,
yeah,
okay.
I mean, I guess you'd say that's my opinion.
It's a preference, I guess. But anyway,
I feel like my
if you want it, it's there as well.
I feel like my phone is constantly just vomiting notifications at me, like, look at me.
Yes.
Just yelling.
Dude, we were in the producer meeting on Wednesday. I left the producer meeting. I had 23 text messages.
That's what I'm saying.
Just in that meeting. While I was in that meeting.
It's too much.
Oh God.
Just got the Kyle Parker notification. There you go, Tom. See, you're a real one, dog. Cole and the gang, way too excited about this podcast, and a 44-year-old father of two should be. Thanks for bringing so much joy every week. But it's very kind.
Love you. And
Cole, you've been my boy for many years.
Love you.
Thank you. Shout out.
Are we done?
We're done.
By the way, Jalen Milroe is not a good quarterback. Great athlete, not a good quarterback.
Cheers.
I was right about Kalen DeBoer being a Les Miles 2.0.
Yeah.
He's going to win. Les Miles won a national championship.
That's true.
Played for
so you have the ultimate.
Yes.
You have the ultimate.
Don't I?
Yeah.
Don't I?
It's a great take.
Isn't this not a perfect argument?
Great take.
It is, and it's accurate. And Kalen, clean it up, bro. I mean, like a little dry fit T-shirt on the sideline at an SEC game. I get it's Vanderbilt, but come on, bro.
I mean, just not with that body, really. I mean, the body's not bad. It was an ill-fitting shirt.
See ya.
Later, guys.